So the lawfare today playing out in Judge Juan Merchan's courtroom. The Democrats and their legacy media friends got what they wanted. They can call Donald Trump, our incoming president, a convicted felon. They can have the headline, but Trump, of course, has the ultimate say. He has the presidency. Pretty good trade-off in my mind. Trump says, though, he is not done fighting, and we know the appeals process most likely will be in his favor. Let's get more reaction to today's decision. We bring in Gordon Chang, author of several best-selling books. His latest one, The Coming Collapse of China and Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America. He's with us today, and also joining Gordon, Brilyn Hollyhand. He's the chairman of the RNC Youth Advisory Council and the author of the book, One Generation Away. Welcome into Newsline. We're also going to talk about TikTok because you both kind of disagree on where the future of that app goes. So welcome, but first to Donald Trump. You know, Gordon, on the world stage, we know Donald Trump commands a lot of respect. Yes, they can label him a convicted felon, but ultimately, many say this is just a blip in the history books and really a black eye for the Democrats and Alvin Bragg.
Well, certainly a black eye. And I agree that this is what helped get him elected, because the American people realized that this prosecution in particular was unfair. It was biased. It was part of a campaign to prevent President Trump from being elected. And I think it will be a blip because I agree with you. Clearly, this was a made-up charge. The statute of limitations in any event applied, and it will be overturned on appeal. So, yes, blip is a perfect word.
We were watching it all play out, and it was like one indictment after the other. And you can't even imagine the strength he had to go with it, Brilyn. But, you know, young men are turning more conservative. And I have to say, dovetailing on what Gordon just said, the fact he had a mugshot, you know, some were even saying they identified more with him. So it was almost the more they go after him, they felt like he is one of us. He is not an elite above us. And he's taking this lawfare because ultimately he didn't have to do this. He could have stayed in the private sector. But for him to go through this, survive, you know, 2 assassination attempts, he was their man.
You're exactly right, Bill. It's a dark day in American history. I mean, this is something that should not have happened. There was no case from the beginning. I think one of the most powerful moments of today's hearing was when President Trump over Zoom said, listen, the American people saw clear what you did in this courtroom, and they still voted for me in a landslide. Every single swing state still voted for me. That was powerful. That was a powerful moment of rejection by the American people. The American people said, hey, we're rejecting this political persecution. And political persecution is exactly what this is. We spent Trump's first term saying that they were going after him, the deep state was going after him. This made it very clear to, like you said, young men and really everybody out there that Donald Trump is enemy number one of the weaponization of government. They went after him and they voted for him because of that.
Yeah, well, thank you for weighing in on today's historic virtual proceedings. We wanted to talk to you both about TikTok because there's a lot of debate on whether or not it should be banned. It's Chinese owned. Brilyn, you are actually staying on as the youth counsel for Donald Trump. He joined TikTok during this election, and you are saying out of 3 things you want him to do, one of them is staying on TikTok. I'll let you explain that. But first, Gordon, I know you have been on the record saying, let's ban it because the risks are so great. And we saw what happened during the conflict initially, the way the algorithm was showing certain things with Israel-Gaza that really shaped consciousness. So tell us why you think TikTok needs to be banned in the United States.
Yeah, TikTok needs to be banned or sold to a non-Chinese party. And there are 2 reasons. First of all, China has been using the app to illegally take the data of Americans. And certainly they're going to use it for malign purposes. But also, as you point out, TikTok has been used to propagate Chinese narratives, and they use the curation algorithm to do that. So, for instance, right after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we saw Russian disinformation on TikTok. And during Iran's attack on Israel, 96.5% of the videos on Hamas on the platform supported the terrorist group. That's not an accident. We have seen other instances of use of TikTok. The Chinese military has used it to promote violence in the United States. So this case is not about the First Amendment. It's about conduct. They're not going after the content on the app. They're going after China's conduct. And if we can't ban this or take it away from China, then we're not going to be able to defend our country from a malicious and malign attack from the Chinese regime.
Today, the Supreme Court will hear arguments on whether to overturn or delay a law that could lead to a ban. Brilyn, how would you like to see this play out, knowing also that Donald Trump has used TikTok, and it did get him a little bit of interest there as well? I forget how many joined his account in the first 24 hours, but it was pretty epic.
Yeah, millions and millions. During the campaign, we used TikTok as a weapon to call out Kamala Harris's lies and as a tool to engage with Gen Z. Bianca, I met with the president 4 times over the course of the campaign and encouraged him to get on the platform. Trump won this election because he listened to first-time voters like myself and joined TikTok to get his message to us directly. He didn't need these paid influencers or cringy trends like his failed opponent. All he had to do was go where Gen Z was, TikTok.
But you agree that Chinese ownership is a problem?
Absolutely. Yes, I've been a vocal critic of allowing TikTok to be CCP owned. At the end of the day, it would be a big win for the country if this app is bought by an American company. That's the position I stand. That's what President Trump stands. So we hope to have, this be a free speech platform that America can own. That this is a big image for America on the global stage, can help the American economy. This would be great at the end of the day if it could be bought by an American company.
And it may just be that. I know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank has floated that idea, so we'll see. Where there's a deal to be made, capitalism reigns. All right, guys, great conversation and wonderful to see you both. Gordon Chang, Brilyn Hollyhand, thank you.
Thank you, Bianca. Have a good weekend.
You too. Coming up next on